When Manny came back from the junkyard, he brought something special in the bed of the truck for Gina. A safety bot unit? She asked. Don't those help little kids cross the street? Her brother smiled and tossed her a wrench. If you can fix it, I bet it can do anything. So Gina got to work. She wrenched and she wired, she looked at the manual and she programmed. Finally, she brought the safety bot back to life. Hello, safety bot, she said. I'm Gina. Let's be friends. Good morning, Gina, Safety Bot said. I look forward to keeping you safe in the big city. Safety Bot looked around and saw nothing but rows and rows of chile plants, the wide river valley, and the endless sky. Oh my, this is the country, Safety Bot exclaimed. I don't know how to be safe here. I'll teach you, Gina declared. This is a horse. We ride it around the farm, but do not approach it from behind. What does this rope do? Safety Bot asked as he pulled the horse's tail. Safety Bot, no! Bonk. That is why it will kick you. Horses are unsafe, Gina, said Safety Bot. They don't have many of those in the city. This is an arroyo. It looks dry, but when it rains in the mountains, the arroyo can flood quickly and carry you away very suddenly. It looks dry now, said Safety Bot. Safety Bot, no! Whoosh. That is why it can sweep you away. Arroyos are unsafe, Gina, said Safety Bot. They don't have any of those in the city. Our farm is famous for its spicy green chiles, Gina said proudly. Look, Dad is roasting a batch right now, but be careful, Safety Bot. The roaster gets super hot. Sir, said Safety Bot, it looks like you dropped a pepper. Safety Bot, no! Wait, you're okay? The heat doesn't bother me, Gina. I am safe up to 1500 degrees Fahrenheit, said Safety Bot. Believe me, fire safety is something I know lots about. Gina had an idea. Safety Bot can take over running the roaster, Gina exclaimed. Her dad looked at his hands. We'd certainly save a lot of money on gloves. What do you think, Safety Bot? Gina asked. Safety Bot beamed and gleamed. I look forward to keeping you safe. Safety Bot, Gina said, these are the best roasted chiles we've ever made. And the safest, said Safety Bot.
It's been raining night and day. The oak tree drums on the roof. Our boots leave oceans by the door. Karim, when can we play? Don't know, Ali, but not today. For 3 days straight, we stare at gray. Muggy windows drip with spray. Homes seem like islands far away. That's how much it rained today. What if it doesn't stop raining? What if? What if the sea becomes our yard? The backlot becomes the bay. Across the street, the dolphins squeak. Beach balls bounce from beak to beak. You can't trick me. The court's just wet. Then who's that playing with our net? It still rains, but there's more to see. More friends to meet. More things to be. At first, it's dark, but then it's bright when mermaids herd plankton at night. We're perfect swimmers, you and I. You can't do this when things are dry. A land sea party shakes the shop. Dolphins dance, belugas pop. But just as we really start to rock, wait, hear that? The rain, it stopped. The waves roll back. The tide goes down. The whales and squid and fish hop down. Come on, Ali, let's go say bye, quick, before we lose the tide. With boots still damp but spirits high, we run to the pier to wave goodbye. Wait, the rain turned out to be so fun. I'll be bored with just the sun. Back at the store, we sit by the door, fin-shaped puddles still on the floor. Karim, what if it never rains again? I'm not worried. We'll make new friends.
The day broke cold and early on the morning of Bin Mean's 8th birthday, Quest Day. In his village, everyone had a special magic spell. Frederica could talk to sheep. Mason could sprout seeds in his hand. Bin Mean could summon a little cloud that went poot. He hated it. His friends had completed their quests already. Now it was Bin Mean's turn. For his quest day, he had to gather a magic pine cone from the top of Mount Tremulant. Then he'd be a wizard too. He hugged his friends goodbye and set off. He had everything he needed. A compass, a couple of fluffy buns for lunch, and his magic. Sigh. "Help! Help!" yelled a voice from the forest. A gust of wind had swept away the crown of a leaf bear. Bin Mean couldn't reach the crown, so he summoned his cloud. "Oot!" "Thank you. Say, that's a useful trick," said the leaf bear. Bin Mean wasn't so sure, but he shared his lunch with the bear and continued on his way. Bin Mean came upon an inn. "Help out your auntie, won't you?" said the old innkeeper. Bin Mean helped her light lanterns and used his little cloud to dust high places. "What a clever little spell," the innkeeper said. Bin Mean shrugged. As night fell, Bin Mean reached the top of Mount Tremulant. He picked a single pine cone from the glorious silver pine tree. "Where do you think you're going, Pipsqueak?" rumbled a threatening voice. A shadow troll. The troll slammed his massive fist into the ground. "My precious pine cone!" he yelled. Bin Mean concentrated hard. A great big blue cloud appeared and poof, blew the troll over. With the pine cone in his bag, Bin Mean took off down the mountain as fast as he could run. He was just starting to think about how big that cloud had been when the shadow troll burst out of the trees. The path spooled out before Bin Mean. He took a turn and saw the well-lit inn. "Help!" he yelled. "It's Bin Mean," said the old woman, transforming into a cloud dragon. She turned to the troll and hissed, "Knock it off, Harvey!" Harvey the shadow troll slunk into the woods. "You okay, hon?" asked the dragon. "Yes, thank you for your help," said Bin Mean. "But does this mean I failed my quest?" "Of course not. No wizard works alone." "Hop aboard, Wizard Bin Mean," said the cloud dragon. "I'll take you home." He summoned the little blue cloud for a boost up the dragon's back. Poof! "That's a pretty cool spell you got there," she said. "Thanks," Bin Mean responded. "It really is."
Maribel speaks, and she speaks well. With a voice like a spell and a stance like a star, she can talk about anything at all, from the class pet to playing clarinet. Maribel dreams of someday speaking to 1,000,000 people all at once. Maybe she'll be mayor, or the first grader to live stream from the moon. There's just one little thing keeping Maribel from speaking. Achoo! Every time Maribel speaks in front of a crowd, she sneezes. A lot. Not a little wheeze, not a medium breeze, but a big, billowing achoo! Mrs. Sato calls Maribel to her desk. Great job, as usual. Here are the class butterflies. Are you ready for the big school presentation during lunch today? Of course, Maribel says. I won't sneeze, even once. It'll be perfect. It doesn't need to be perfect, Mrs. Sato says. Just do your best. Maribel practices with her friend. Jay pinches Maribel's nostrils and takes cover. Go ahead, Maribel. Our class is happy to present our native butterfly. Achoo! I've worked so hard on these, Maribel sniffles. It's gotta be perfect. So what if it's not perfect, Jay says. If you sneeze, you sneeze. The lunch bell rings. Maribel thinks about Jay's words as she carries the butterflies to the cafeteria. In the warmth of the spotlight, Maribel smiles and spreads her arms wide. Mrs. Sato's class welcomes you to our Hawaiian wildlife presentation. The crowd leans in as Maribel speaks, her spotted wings fluttering behind her. It's all going well until Maribel feels the tickle from her nose to her toes. Maribel scrunches up her face. She clutches her nose. She hears Jay shout, "It's okay, Maribel. Just sneeze and keep going." So what if it's not perfect? Sometimes not perfect is just right. Maribel wiggles, flaps her wings, and finally lets go. Achoo! With a giggle and a snort, Maribel lands on her feet. Our native butterfly, the Kamehameha. The cafeteria shakes from all the cheers. Even Maribel can't help but smile. Maribel speaks, and she speaks well. Sometimes she speaks perfectly. Sometimes she sneezes too. Anyway, either way is just right.
What stop are you getting off at? Jonah's mother asked him for the 11th time as she dropped him off at the train station. Quincy, Mama. Jonah tried not to roll his eyes. Then I'll walk to Union Station and meet Gabby. He wasn't a baby. He'd taken Chicago's elevated train with his family so many times. The L was second nature to him. Whoosh! A train going the other direction bolted past him, whipping up leaves as it entered the station. Jonah bolted upright. Still, he could handle himself. He could ride the elevated train alone. He could touch his Metro card to the reader and go through the... The turnstile wasn't turning. Jonah put all his weight into the bar and he was through. Jonah had always wondered what it would be like to ride in the last car. Now was his chance. He knew exactly where to stand on the platform, 3/4 of the way down. The train arrived, and Jonah slid onto it like a pro. And there wasn't anyone in the back of the car, in the special seats that faced the rear window of the train. All his, he thought. He settled into his seat and watched the train go up, soaring over houses and apartments and businesses. At Montrose, he waved hello to a dog on a roof. At Belmont, he shared his seat with a new friend. At Merchandise Mart, he gazed up at the skyscrapers. At Quincy, he got off the train. Through the exit, down the stairs, onto the street, and into a crowd full of so many people. Jonah tried not to get trampled underfoot. He stood tall, and he walked quickly, and he said, "Excuse me, please." Union Station was big, but his sister's smile was even bigger. "You made it," Gabby said. "Are you ready to spend the day together?" On the way home, they sat at the very back of the train. His sister admitted it was pretty cool to watch downtown get smaller and smaller. "Nothing beats the secret seat," Jonah said.
Creaky, stumpy, bumpy. Jada's house was old, old, old. Grandpa built it with a lot of love and boatloads of boards. Rain made the pink shutters bump bump like a drum. The garden overflowed with ginger and okra. Newer houses were plain and tame. Jada's house was not at all. From the porthole window, Jada could see the whole world. She waved to the seagulls, she shouted to the morning boats, and she humphed and looked away whenever her neighbor Javier passed by their tangled garden. Javier lived like a prince in the palace next door, with its lacy white curtains and a pool big enough for a giant. He seemed to have nothing to do but sip lemonade and watch Jada pluck weeds and water the plants. What a soggy sock! A funky fish head! Jada ignored him as best as she could. "What's so great about a new house anyway?" Jada asked, placing Grant's teacups to catch little leaks in the roof. "Everybody likes different things, and that's okay," Dada said. "Just like you and I love tea time with the house. Plink, 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 plink with the house." One windy day, as Jada watched from the porthole window, the roar of the sea grew louder and louder. The seagulls didn't fly by. The morning boats went out, but rushed back in just as quickly. "Javier's mom is worried the pool might flood," said Mama. "I invited them over until the storm lets up." "No, not Javier," Jada complained to the hallway portraits. Jada secretly hoped that he would be eaten up by the hedges or the cracks in the porch. But then came a knock at the door. Jada's parents welcomed Javier's family warmly, and so did the house with an extra large creak. So, up the stairs they went. Raindrops plinked into the teacups, the shutters bumped like a drum, and the baby sang along. Jada waited for Javier to say something, but he just buried his nose in the pages of his book. "Why do you always have that with you?" Jada asked at last. "No one in the neighborhood really talks to me," said Javier shyly, "so I like to draw instead." Javier opened it so Jada could see. It was old, and the covers creaked. Jada gasped. Inside were drawings, pictures of her garden, the seagulls, and Jada at the porthole window, captain of it all. The looks from beyond the fence, perhaps they hadn't been mean. All this time, Jada had never actually spoken to Javier. "I'm sorry," Jada said. "For what?" asked Javier, looking down. Jada almost said, "For calling you a funky fish head," but stopped. I didn't offer you any tea. Would you like some?" Jada asked. Javier smiled. When the rain stopped at last, the new friends looked at the storm-tossed yards. The fences had fallen. Both houses looked a little older, both gardens a little messier. "Looks like we've got some work to do," Jada said. "Think you can put that paintbrush to work?" "You bet," Javier responded. Jada got her toolbox, Javier got his paint. Together, they began to work.
It was a grim, drippy day when Goblin stole Omar's favorite shirt. Rain thudded against the windows, leaving long wet streaks on the glass. Sunday. Anyway, the goblins, they crawled out of the floor like ants, whooping and screaming. At first, Omar didn't even notice them, but they noticed his jersey. "Ho ho!" one goblin cried. "A prize!" Omar bolted upright and said, "Hey, leave that alone, you goblins!" But they paid him no heed. They surged like a wave into his closet, snatched the jersey, and disappeared back into a pile of dirty laundry. Omar brushed the messy pile aside, revealing a hole, but it didn't go into the apartment downstairs. It was a hole that went somewhere else. He called out for his mother in a panicked voice. "What is it, Habibi?" she asked, and then took in the room. "I thought I asked you to clean up in here." "I will, Mama, I will, but goblins stole my favorite jersey." Omar showed her the hole in the floor. She understood the situation. "Better go in after them, honey. Picture day's tomorrow." Omar suited up, gathered his courage, and jumped in. The tunnel went farther than he expected, and it smelled like an overturned dumpster in the summertime. Out he stumbled into the trashlands, and into the court of the Trash Goblin Queen. "What business do you have before us, Omar the Mortal?" said the queen. "I want my jersey back," Omar declared. "Your goblins took it from me." The Trash Goblin Queen stood up from her throne. "What is trash belongs to us!" "My shirt isn't trash," he said, insulted. The queen raised the filthy jersey into the air. "Is this not garbage?" she asked. "Junk! Junk! Junk!" the goblins roared. Omar darted forward and grabbed the shirt. The Trash Goblin Queen pulled it back. They pulled and they tugged and they strained until the queen lost her grip. Omar raced out of the trashlands with his prize. "I'll get you next time, you wicked boy!" she called out. Omar came out from the hole in the floor. He showed his mom the shirt. "There is magic more powerful than goblin grime, Habibi," his mother said. She fished around in a drawer and pressed a roll of quarters into his palm. "It's called a washing machine. There are 3 in the basement." Starting the laundry wasn't so bad. Picking up the junk in his room was easier than he thought. But it wasn't until after Omar vacuumed the floor that the portal to the trashlands finally closed with a dull pop. His shirt was clean, his room was tidy, and the goblins, at last, were gone. For the moment, anyway.
Gabe loves his little brother. He loves to ride bikes, play football, and play dress-up with Kai. Kai loves his big brother right back. He loves to ride bikes, play football, and play dress-up with Gabe. But Gabe does not like getting Kai ready in the morning. Kai takes forever. Kai does not like when Gabe gets him ready in the morning either. Gabe is no fun. Gabe wants to be at school on time for his big presentation in science class. Kai does not know how to tell time. Gabe makes Kai's favorite breakfast, cereal and bananas, so Kai can eat without a fuss. Kai decides he does not like cereal and bananas today. Gabe tells Kai to put on his shoes. Kai is nowhere to be seen. Kai, stop fooling around, Gabe calls as he searches through the house. We have to catch the bus in 10 minutes. Kai lifts up the tablecloth. You're no fun in the morning, Kai sulks. I know. I'd rather be playing too, says Gabe, but I have a big presentation in science class today. So, if you're late, you will miss the presentation? Kai asks. Yes, it's a group project and my friends need me there, Gabe explains. Kai thinks about it. Well, then what are we doing under the table? Shouts Kai. Let's go! We can't miss the bus. The brothers dash onto the bus together. Kai proudly carries Gabe's poster. My brother has a big presentation today, Kai exclaims.
Russ and his mom were moving out of Grandma's house. Box by box, day by day, they'd packed all their things for the long road ahead. But it was a lot to pack and a long way to go. Russ ran his hands over the old toy chest. It was too heavy to bring, but it kept the memories of all he'd ever been. A rock star, a cowboy, a goblin king. Russ sighed and wondered if he would ever adventure again. But as Russ reached the bottom of the great old chest, he stumbled on a surprise, and then an idea. If we have to move from Grandma's house, said Russ, then we should go to Mars. Mars? Said his mom with a smile. How should we get there? Russ knew the way had no map. Somehow, Mom and Grandma knew it too. Grandma helped Russ stitch and snip a spacesuit, and Mom helped him to the launch pad. Boing, boing! With each bounce, Russ felt lighter and lighter. Boing, boing! Russ took a last lap round the old house, then bounced all the way to the truck. Mission Control, are you ready? Said Russ. All ready, my explorer, said Mom. They waved bye to Grandma, to the neighborhood, and to the whole Earth. With a spark and a boom, their spaceship took flight. The city flew by and became the towns. The towns flew by and became the wide open sky. The engine roared as they soared through plum purple mountains, then plump orange hills. Russ dreamed of red sand and slanting stars with bright tails. And when he awoke, they'd arrived in a new world. The trees were not trees, the waves were not water, and the grass got up and rolled where it pleased. The new house gleamed like a big silver shell. Russ shouted hi into it, and it shouted hi back. Perhaps it was eager for a new beginning too. So Russ, spacesuit tailor, star sailor, and Martian sun tamer began box by box, day by day, to trek the bright road to adventure, wherever it would lead. There are 2 rules to the time travel potluck. Come hungry and don't poke the squid. Bring a big empty basket, then find the tallest rock. With a wave and a whoosh of its minute-moving arms, the squid turns back the clock. Shake and stir, boil and brew, hop into a time stew. When and where will we go? Only the time squid can know. In the future, we land at a Yupik fish camp. Salmon, herring, smelt galore from the cold Alaskan shore. Brr, it's chilly. Let's eat more. Present-day Ghana on the dot. Spicy light soup in the pot. Scoop it up with fufu and get a great big bite. The potluck's heating up over eons, years, and nights. As time rewinds, a new scene we scan. Welcome to distant Japan. A familiar face, a hug so tight. Great-great-grandma's a delight. Swirling plates of foods to try. Mochi cake so good you'll cry. Dumplings rain between time shores. Samosas, kube, wontons soar. 8 arms rush us to the door. Hurry, hurry, let's eat more. Finally, we take a seat. The basket creaks, all stuffed with treats. But before we take the first big bite, poke. Oh no, a time food fight. Flan to calm the ancient squid with a pet, not poke, from every kid. Kimchi, hummus, roasted duck. See you at the time potluck.
Every class at my school has a class pet. Just your regular preschool dragon, kindergarten griffin, first grade chimera. In second grade, our class pet is a unicorn. Our teacher has a contest. Whoever reads the most books can babysit the unicorn during spring break. I read 23 books and they are all about unicorns. Unicorns who help wizards on quests. Unicorns who heal injured animals. Unicorns who live forever. I win the contest, and my teacher gives me a list of instructions on how to babysit a unicorn. Feed her oats and stardust, fluff the cloud she sleeps on, polish her horn, wash her coat, and clean up after her. I love having a unicorn. She makes rainbow slides with her horn, and we ride all around the city. She uses her horn to bring gardens back to life and befriends all the animals. But back inside, things are getting messy. When I forget to fluff her cloud, it makes everything wet. She keeps eating all of my crayons, and the glitter from her magic is everywhere. The next morning, I wake up and my unicorn is gone! I run down the hallway looking for her. What if she's lost or hurt? If only I had kept her space clean. If only I had cared for her. If only I had fed her, she wouldn't be stealing lumpias from my neighbors. I apologize to them and help clean. I promise the unicorn I will babysit her the right way. Back home, I pull out my teacher's instructions and start going through the list. Fluff the cloud? Check. Feed her oats and stardust? Check. Babysitting a unicorn is hard work. Luckily, there's still lots of time to play. Every Christmas, Abuela Chela makes her famous tamales. She prepares the masa and meat, washes the corn husks, spreads the masa, and wraps the tamales. This Christmas, she's tired of doing all the work. She asks her grandkids for help, but they play outside instead. Tina runs in the sprinklers, Angie takes selfies, Jonas makes slime, and Nestor folds origami. When the cousins run inside for a snack, Tina drips water everywhere. Nestor sleeps on the wet floor and slides into Jonas. The slime flies in the air and... splat! It lands on Abuela Chela's head. ¡Ay, basta! Enough! Abuela Chela exclaims. Every Christmas, I work all day with no help from anyone. I refuse to make any more tamales. I quit. We can't have Christmas without Abuela Chela's tamales, Jonas laments. It's Tina's fault for making me sleep, Nestor blames. No, it's Jonas's fault for dropping the slime, Tina insists. Basta, Angie announces. We have to make it up to Abuela Chela. We will make the tamales ourselves. But we don't know how, Nestor points out. Angie selfies, Tina exclaims. The cousins scroll through Angie's photos and find all the steps to make tamales. Angie takes charge preparing the meat. Tina splashes around as she washes the corn husks. Next, Jonas spreads the masa pretending it's slime. Nestor fills each tamal with meat and folds them up like origami. Finally, they put the tamales on the stove to steam. When the tamales are ready, the cousins know who should have the first bite. But will Abuela Chela like it? She does.
Ash's family is celebrating Diwali, the festival of lights. The house is full of laughter and warm with candlelight and good smells. Two sisters dance on the couch, jostling flowers and string lights. But where's Ash? Deep in his cave of books, Ash is dreaming of adventure. His best friend Seema's long, lemony feathers tickle his ear as he reads to her. And so, the hero outsmarted the 10-headed king with a trick! With a trick! Seema repeats. Ash, it's party time, his mom calls out. Everyone will be here soon. Party time means sweets and sparklers, but it also means talking. Talking about school and sports and so much more. Sometimes it feels like the talking is too big and the room is too small. Yes, Mom, Ash sighs. Yes, Mom, Seema squawks. She sounds just like Ash. Ash gets an idea. Seema, I need a break when there are too many people. Will you switch places with me? Ash asks. Sure, Sugar Cube, Seema chirps. He hugs her close. Just then, the aunties arrive carrying covered dishes and gifts wrapped in gold. Ash, you've gotten so big. How is school? School, Sugar Cube, Seema says. How precious. The aunties with their wobbly silver spectacles notice nothing. Seema switches while Ash snacks. She swaps for the small talk while Ash slides by. It's all going splendidly until the fireworks start. The first fireworks boom. Seema squeaks in fear and flies back inside. Ash, come here. A sparkling swarm surrounds him. The crowd is too big. The room is too small. Everyone is there, but Ash feels very alone. Ash's feet find a chair. His hands find his dad's. And at last, his thoughts find his voice. I think I need a break, Ash says. Will you help? Of course, his dad says. Back in the book cave, both Ash and Seema feel a little calmer. The quiet grows until everything feels right again. When he feels ready, Ash comes out to dance. He forgets to switch with Seema, and he enjoys the party all the same.
Some monsters live in the closet. Some monsters live under the bed. I have a monster who lives in my body. She is my scared monster, and she is scared of everything. Today, my scared monster is afraid of the big slide, or as she calls it, the terrifying slide of doom. But the other kids are having fun, and I want to play with them. When I walk over to the big slide, my scared monster crawls up my throat, so I breathe short and quick. I put a foot on the stairs, and she squeezes my heart so it beats fast and loud. First, I ignore her, but that just makes her act up. Then I yell at her, "Why can't you be big and strong like other monsters?" But she doesn't listen. Finally, I take 3 deep breaths. I breathe in through my nose, and my lungs fill with air. I breathe out through my mouth, and I start to calm down. I talk to her. "What are you scared of?" I ask. "I'm scared that you will fall and hurt your head," she says. We watch 5 kids go down the slide, and they don't fall or hurt their heads. "It seems safe," I say. I walk to the stairs. My heart thuds with each step I take. The stairs seem to grow taller the higher I climb. Everything looks small from up here. My heart still beats fast, but it's more of a fun skip. If everything looks small, then I must be big, I reason. Whoosh! The wind rushes past my face as the slide twists and turns. I feel like I'm flying. My scared monster still lives with me, but now I know how to relax and talk to her. And sometimes my scared monster becomes my brave monster. In the tallest mountain above Tamika's village, there lived a dragon who used her fire to build the most beautiful toys. Many knights tried to break into the dragon's cave and bring the toys to the kids of the village, but they all came back bruised and defeated. The knights told stories about the dragon's sharp claws, fiery breath, and a tail strong enough to break a castle. But Tamika had a strong will and quick feet. She decided to train for her armor and sword so she could take on the dragon herself. When Tamika got to the cave, the dragon stomped out and shook the ground with every step. She growled a deep, mean roar. "What do you want?" "Hand over the toys," Tamika shouted, drawing her sword. "Never!" responded the dragon, and she swung her tail, knocking the sword out of Tamika's hand. Tamika sprung onto the dragon's back and pulled at her scales. The dragon shrieked and breathed a raging fire that burned Tamika's hair. Tamika did a tuck and roll to hide under the dragon's belly, just like she had learned in training. She noticed the dragon's soft skin and scratched at it. But instead of crying in pain, the dragon started to laugh. And instead of fire, a lavender mist came out of her nostrils. It landed on Tamika's head and made her hair grow back thick and healthy. Tamika crawled from underneath the dragon. "I didn't know dragons could laugh," she said. "I didn't think humans could laugh," said the dragon. Tamika and the dragon stared at each other and blinked. Tamika stuck out her tongue. The dragon wiggled her ears, and they both roared with laughter. "You're not like the other humans," said the dragon. "They're always so angry when they break into my cave to steal my toys." "I never thought of it like that," said Tamika. Tamika looked around at the mess she'd made and felt guilty. "Can I help you clean?" asked Tamika. The dragon nodded. Tamika and the dragon spent the whole day fixing the cave and playing together. The next day, Tamika returned to visit the dragon, and the next day, and the next day. Soon enough, Tamika started to bring other villagers to the dragon's cave. It took some convincing, but slowly they learned to trust the dragon, and the dragon learned to trust them. In the tallest mountain above Tamika's village, there lived a beloved dragon who used her fire to build the most beautiful toys. Kids from the village would run up the mountain to play with the dragon, but none of them could make the dragon laugh like Tamika.